soldier time. Yes, man. Welcome to another episode of Survival of the Fittest is the soup du jour. Yo soy Roberto Treviño, known to his friends as Bobby. If you're an old friend of mine, you can call me Bobby. I'm Bobby Treviño. So there you go. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you are doing well. I hope that you've been inspired to do something exciting today or something incredible for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your neighbors, for anybody. Just do it and do the right thing, all right? Well, I've been thinking, there's all these Latinos know what I'm talking about when I say this, but the debate of the guayabera, where did it come from? Is it from Mexico? Is it from Cuba? Is it from Puerto Rico? Is it from la República Dominicana? Well, I tell you what, those are questions that will be asked probably forever. And every one of these countries will take claim to have invented the guayabera. So this brings us today to what we need to address. Where is ceviche from? All right? Where is ceviche from? Is it really from Peru? Is it really from Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Santo Domingo? Tú me diga, porque yo no sé. And I will tell you what I do know. I can make a mean ceviche. And I would have to say, only because I'm willing to go there with different fish, different shellfish, you name it. I think I've made a ceviche out of just about anything that has ever been in the ocean or even on land for that matter. I remember doing an escabeche, which I think is the same as a ceviche, other than it's not lime and it's vinegar as the acid, but of beef with wild mushrooms, and it was amazing. So technically, it wasn't seafood. That's my only point. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but whatever. Ceviche, where is it from? In Mexico, they will claim that they invented the ceviche, or that they've invented the sort of using the lemon or lime or acid to cook the raw fish and adding vegetables and what have you. The Peruvians do an amazing job with it and I would have to say, have taken the crown worldwide as the inventors of ceviche, even though, in Puerto Rico we would have to say no, eso no es así. Y también en Cuba y México ni se diga, but I think Peru takes the crown right now worldwide as the ones who have they do the ceviche. You go to a Peruvian restaurant and there's ceviche and maybe 4 or 5 different varieties of ceviche. So, the Peruvians do a great job with it, especially, if you're lucky enough to go to Lima or the coast of Peru and get that black clam, la concha negra ceviche. Hey, it's on my list. I'd like to be able to tell everybody that I'm the massive world traveler. I've traveled some. I'd say about a quarter, maybe half of the world. And I say that just very humbly because I'm very fortunate to have been to many exciting places and had exciting adventures, I must admit. Good, bad, and ugly, but certainly worth it. And, Peru definitely is, one on my list. So someday I will make it there, and I think soon. I have South America on my probably next trip. Colombia, definitely Peru, Ecuador, tú me entiendes, in Bolivia. If I'm in Peru, I might as well make it to Bolivia. Bolivia seems to be one of those lost places, when you go to Mongolia or something like that, or Nepal, one of those very lost in time and space kind of places. So definitely Bolivia. And please, Bolivians, don't take me wrong. I'm sure you have internet and I'm sure you guys are doing some exciting things. I'm a believer in just just beautiful communities doing great things, whether you be anywhere in the world, honestly. And some of the most exciting stories, I remember, when I would visit different places in Puerto Rico on the island or in Mexico on, different places, and you see the innovation that people use to sort of pump water, whether it be a 6-cylinder engine or wind power, these different things, you see these sort of makeshift things, or how they would make good rum, or tequila. And they use these different elements, that are just so exciting. And I think that's what makes the world such a wonderful place. So let's go back to the ceviche debate because I can go on and on. Now, I've had some great ceviches in Mexico. Like Mexico tends to want to cut all the ceviche up really tight, and lots of lime, and they use cucumbers and tomatoes and onions, which I love. And I'm not going to say that it's certainly not good. I absolutely adore it. Or it's going to have like a tomato base, a thick one, almost like if it was ketchup, like for the cocktails de camarón that you'll get in different restaurants here, in America, and in Mexico, ni se diga. You get these like cocteles in Veracruz. I remember going to Veracruz when I was young, and literally like these like wooden shelves are built where you see these like different like glasses, and they're priced because of the size of the glass, but the entire shelf is filled with those glasses and the different prices, and they put like a little thin piece of wood on top to sort of keep whatever bugs or whatever life is flowing that could fall in there, or dust or whatever. But yeah, oyster, shrimp, clam, you name it, it's just like boom, Veracruz forever. I love it because that's just one of the few places where you can go into like the marketplace and you can see just like these different like seafood like cocktails on shelves where you're just like, okay, let me try that one. Amazing. Now on the Pacific coast of Mexico, you have the abalone that that it grows in that region of the Pacific, whether it be from Northern California all the way down, and I think even Oregon and Washington get abalone as well, all the way down to Baja California. And that's an amazing like fish. But equally as amazing is the conch, the conch, carruccio, scongili in Italia. But I tell you what, that's another great like sort of heavy duty like shellfish that I would have to say Puerto Rico mastered. Now, we've left the ceviches of Mexico and we're going to like the ceviches of Puerto Rico, the escabeches, and the different styles. Now, keep in mind, Puerto Rico has a very heavy Spaniard influence in their culinary, like culinary history, and I think this is why Puerto Rico really has, I'd have to say, the best rice in the world because of, I think, its Spanish influence. And certainly, its understanding of wanting to use the ocean, And I'd have to say that the carrucho and escabeche in Puerto Rico is one of those things that if you've never had it, it's like you're missing out because, conch is conch. And anyone who lives in Florida, anyone who's been in the Bahamas, they get conch fritters, and everyone knows this is kind of some like chewy, seafoody thing. But in Puerto Rico, in the escabeche, it becomes like high-end hot cuisine, high-end beautiful cuisine. Touches your palate, and the texture's perfect, and the vinegar and the olive oil and the whole peppercorns when you bite one, and the onions are just perfect. Carrucho and escabeche may be one of my favorite things ever, and it's something that comes from Puerto Rico. Y tú sabes. And I think that the influences from Mexico and Peru have had a huge influence in the Caribbean ceviches. But I think that because Puerto Rico and Cuba and Santo Domingo are very tropical, people like to use things like parcha, or I guess what they call maricucha, I believe, and passion fruit, which is high in acid and very tropical in flavor. So you'll find that the tropical islands or the Caribbean islands with their ceviches will tend to have the lime, but with passion fruit or with coconut or with, heavy amounts of recao, and cilantro, which, is not a stranger to certainly not the Mexican ceviche, but, you have these flavors in the Caribbean ceviches, which make them very unique, and I think that's what makes the debate valid. Where is ceviche truly from, and who has mastered it? Well, I'm going to have to just kind of like end this debate right now by saying we're living in the year 2021, in the 21st century. The world is small. The world is not the same world of the times of Christopher Columbus, or even, of the age of discovery of the British Raj. It's just another time. We're living where different food and different cultures actually have mixed. Not like some fusion, like some confusion restaurant menu, but truly mixed. Man and wife and children. And the nuevo Latino. And I like to say that, and shout out to Chef Douglas Rodriguez, who coined the nuevo Latino. And I'd have to say, like, the nuevo Latino is real. And this is what's allowing the ceviche debate to end here tonight. It is what you make of it. It is the innovation that you bring. Now, I remember in our ceviche bar from many years ago, I was even in Old San Juan, we used to do a yellow lemon-based mussel ceviche. We would steam the mussels, pull them out of the shell, toss them into our onion, lemon, and saffron mix with plenty of salt and red pepper. And it was just like, it was so like Spaniard in flavor, but so nuevo Latino at the same time for being a ceviche. And that's exactly my point. So, let's just agree that ceviche has become one of those multi-Latino, multicultural dishes that everyone loves. Like, hey, rice did it. Rice did it a long time ago. I mean, everyone has their favorite rice dishes from their countries. And I think ceviche, it's about time that we recognize the place that ceviche has in our hearts and in our palates, that we absolutely love it. I've been a big believer in ceviche. I've often said, and forgive me, Japan, and forgive me, all my sushi chef friends, I've often said that ceviche would replace sushi. Well, hey, man, I mean, sushi made its huge debut in the 80s, when Wall Street, the old Oliver Stone movie at Wall Street came out. Oh, sushi was hip. And, we'd go in Palo Alto, we'd go to a place called Miyagi's, and we'd have to literally wait 2 hours to get in there and have sushi. And it was great because they had the little boats, and it was just so cool. But I believe that ceviche has that right now. It can be the new sushi. And what I mean by that is like just as popular, just as fun, just as I need to be in there and I need to be eating this and I need to be around all these other people eating it, because it's that. And that is the magic of restaurants, and that's the magic of wanting to put together a great concept for your guest. And that's what I'm getting at. Ceviche can be that. And put it on your menu, and or open a ceviche restaurant. Push the limits. I know that they exist, obviously, at this point. I mean, it's not like this is the newest thing on the block, but nor was sushi. And in the 80s when it took off, and in the 90s to the 2000s, I mean, right up to today, sushi restaurants are hugely popular. I think you can do the same with ceviche. So, definitely get your knife skills out, because ceviche definitely requires good knife skills, whether it be the vegetables, the limes, or the very so important fish that you're going to use for your different ceviches. You better have good knife skills, and if you don't, you better get them up there because it deserves them. So, this ceviche debate, I think, has been settled once and for all. Mexico, Peru, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Santo Domingo. and everyone in between, you are equally tied and expected, and forgive me for being so just whatever, but to continue to innovate great ceviches. So, once again, thank you to Orlando Brewing for being here today, giving me this great, nothing's better than Orlando Brewing, an ice cold beer and ceviche any day, anytime, bring it on, I think there's a few great ceviche bars still. I know, people are looking for that, so I encourage it. You can always ask me. I got a ton of them. All right. I love them. I love it. Can't wait to have more ceviches and definitely turn people on to some great new ones. So, as usual, I say to you, survival of the fittest is the soup du jour. I am Roberto Treviño, also known as Bobby. To all of y'all, direct message us anything you want to know, anything you need to share with us. Send us some recipes, send us questions. We want it all. We're on all platforms. We are ready to rock and roll. We're red hot. So come cook with us. Remember, survival of the fittest is the soup du jour. I'm Roberto Treviño. We'll see you soon.